What's going on, folks? We are back once again with another familiar matchup. It's going to be the same as before, but this man in the bottom right, rocking the yellow, playing Terran, it is Kevin Lee, and he is reinvigorated. He has taken some time to reflect on his previous losses, and he's confident that he can perform better and perhaps even take out his opponent in the top left. Rocking the pink, it's Timbo Slice, who is opening this time around with a main base gateway and rallying to his Nexus. I don't know what that's all about. But no gases just yet for Timbo. It's a little strange because Protosses do typically need more gas. Does drop it down a little bit late. Kevin, of course, being the gassy boy that he is, already sitting at 72 gas and climbing. So I wonder what Kevin has in store for us, because he was very demoralized after the previous two games against Timbo Slice. He took some time, went for a walk, enjoyed the weather, and he says that David Goggins spoke to him. So let's see what he's gonna show us in this game. Reaper on the way, pretty standard there. Fast expansion, orbital, a little bit delayed, but opting for that faster command center. And we're gonna see a tech lab once again, so I wouldn't be shocked to see a similar Marauder composition, but hopefully Kevin can shore up his defenses a little bit to whatever Timbo may throw his way. Reaper gonna jump in right away, get one probe. Stalker a little bit late to the party, and looks like one probe is all that's gonna be for now, but that's already excellent damage. And gonna just rotate around, take a peek into the natural, where Timbo is getting gateway and a forge. Nexus completing as we speak. Back home, Kevin, the factory almost completed, going for an engineering base. That's going to help if Timbo decides to go for any air units. Reaper popping back into the main, gets another probe, and is he going to get away? Yes, he does. That is some excellent damage. Two probes, Reaper staying alive. And there's that fast stim pack being researched. Nothing else just yet for Kevin. He still only has that single Reaper for his army. In fact, that bad boy going all the way back home, I think that is pretty unnecessary. Could have just chilled out here or out here. And Kevin getting blind missile turrets. I don't really like that. Go for like a scan. You have the energy. 69 energy on that. Now just going up. But yeah, you have the energy. Drop a scan and see if it's indeed Stargate. Now we see that it's going to be a robotics facility. So this missile turret going to be a bit wasted. That's 125 minerals. But Kevin also using that engineering bay to get a fast +1 attack. So not going to be behind on the upgrades this time around. And indeed, just going to be some Marauders here for Kevin. He is also getting a Sea Shank, which is nice. Hopefully he can siege them up in time for this game. Timbo just going to be going for his Stalkers. Timbo loves his Stalkers. Twilight Council just completing. Let's see what he researches first. Going to be Charge once again. And no Zealots just yet. I do think you should probably warp in a few of those. But no, just going to be 2 more stalkers. Observer going to fly in and take a peek. I'm just going to spot that it is indeed going to be a Marauder Viking. Marauder tank. I don't know where I got Viking from. But we'll see if we get some of those later on. And if it's just going to be Marauders and tanks, Zealots definitely would be a good choice here. Still none on the map. Scan going down for Kevin. Going to spot these 7. Yeah, that's 7 stalkers. That is indeed all Timbo has so far. And Timbo, he's got that observer. He is seeing all of this from Kevin. So any deviation? Are we going to see, maybe a switch off of stalkers? Stalker's going to be pretty not so good against siege tanks and marauders, but warping in yet another stalker there. Going for the 3rd base is Timbo as well as Kevin. And yeah, just stalkers for now, it looks like. Raven on the field for Kevin, so he's going to be able to spot that observer. Is he going to drop a missile turret to shoot that down? Looks like no, opting to go for the harassment instead. And if Timbo was paying attention, he should have seen that moving out. You do see the stalkers going up into the main base to ward that off. Let's see if Kevin is paying attention, or is he just going to lose this Raven? Oh no, that's an expensive loss there. Oh, that is painful. And Kevin floating a lot of money now. Needs to utilize these barracks back at home, not producing anything. What is he focusing on? I am not really sure. Bit supply blocked, that's the reason. 3 supply depots finishing up at once. And still a lot of money though, 700. Probably could use another barracks or 2, but I don't know. I think he's just hasn't been on top of that. But 2nd Raven now going to be going to the 3rd base, and this is relatively undefended. Should be able to get a few kills with the auto turrets here. And indeed, 2 probes going down. Could have been worse, but that is once again free damage as long as the Raven stays alive. Timbo finally warping in some Zealots, and I think you're going to want more than 5. You want to be pretty Zealot heavy against this composition. Zealots, with their charge ability, they can close the distance, and that'll allow the tanks to do some friendly fire to the bio. And Marauders don't do any bonus damage to Zealots. Raven dropping an auto turret to take out that observer. Nicely done there, just to deny that information. Now Timbo going for the Templar archives. That's going to obviously give him access to High Templars and eventually Storms. But until then, he could just morph them into Archons. Kevin making a cute little wall here. I don't know if that's going to be terribly effective at doing anything. If you're getting this base, and probably better off walling off over here. But it's cute. Timbo also going for his 4th base as well. So these guys pretty evenly matched in the eco department this time around. 58 to 56 workers, so very even there. 68 army to 72, so also very even there. Double scan going down from Kevin. I don't understand why he does this, especially when they're overlapping like a Venn diagram. But he sees the army composition of Timbo Slice. There's 5 pretty cool looking Archons. And Kevin only 4 tanks in total, but 2 on the defense. Looks like he's going to unsiege those and bring them with his army. And I know they're a difficult unit to use, but I would like to see some ghosts out of Kevin. Ghosts counter just about everything Protoss. But a Marine Marauder Medevac tank composition A very classic composition and very effective. Timbo with an observer over here. Doesn't want to stay too close until the army doesn't want to get spotted by the Raven. And Timbo going for, looks like a zealot run by. Where are these guys going? They're queued up into the void. No, you don't want to go there. But they are going to redirect into this base, which is heavily defended. I don't think they'll get all too much done. Maybe some splash damage from the tank onto the SCVs, but no, not really. 2 SCVs going down for, what was that, 8 or so zealots. Not very worth it there. But it was a good attempt, a good idea. Both players do have their 4th bases now. Kind of curious that Kevin got an orbital at this location, but a planetary at this location. Timbo walling up pretty nicely. Wouldn't mind seeing a cannon or 2, maybe some batteries. Because here comes the Raven, gonna drop another auto turret at the 4th base, maybe another one as well, and yeah, gonna get a few more probes. 7 going down, that is not too shabby there. I maybe would have preferred to see him split up the missile turrets, auto turrets a little more. But will this Raven get away? Blink gonna come off cooldown, but Raven didn't even try, just stopped there like, yep, take me out. And here we go. Timbo looks like he's positioning for an attack, maybe not, backs off a little bit. Not really sure what he wants to do, but Kevin taking a huge supply lead right now. Not really sure why. Both players with a lot of money in the bank, and Timbo not maxing out when he could be. Maybe a little too focused on this potential attack. He's been at 165 supply for quite some time now. Timbo gonna rotate around, gonna take out this wall, the one I was mentioning earlier. And he is gonna take out a few supply depots, but that has bought Kevin enough time to bring his army back, sieging up the tanks. And I don't know if you want to stick around here, Timbo, but he sticks around. His unit's not really focusing on any one thing. Drop a few more storms. Yeah, those are decent storms, but the Templars kind of trailing in the back. They're going to get picked off. Only 2 remaining. A couple more storms to cover the retreat. These are some very peppered up bio units, and both armies kind of just choosing to disengage there on the other side of these plants, whatever they are. And oh, missed that. It was a huge zealot run by in the main, not really a run by, a warp in rather, taking out the main base. 7 additional SCVs going down, and that is pretty good as well. Wow, completely missed that, but the base is dead. No liftoff. I guess Kevin, same as me, was focusing on the main fight over here. Good job by Timbo with the double-pronged harassment, and that secured him a 50 supply lead. Kevin with a lot of money in the bank. He still has most of his production, so definitely could do a better job reinforcing his army, going for another base here. But that was a good last couple minutes for Timbo Slice here, who is also taking another base in the top right corner. In terms of upgrades, Timbo once again going to be running away with that. He's got 3/3/1 shields, whereas Kevin only at +2 attack, +1 armor, and +1 vehicle attack as well. But yeah, Kevin kind of licking his wounds right now. 47 SCVs, and he still got so much money he could potentially max out again, but not on top of his production. And this next attack going to be very scary coming out of the Protoss player. Kevin's going to be a bit out of position here, so this base going to be in big danger as Timbo coming on in. These tanks not really in range to do a whole lot. And all these SCVs going to go down to The orbital command goes down as well. And oh, wait, a little awkward pathing there. A few zealots gonna lose their lives. But Kevin's gonna need a bit more than that to get back into the game. Another main base warp in from Kevin Lee. From Timbo Slice. Kevin gonna do a decent job cleaning that up this time around. But this is just super annoying from Timbo. And Kevin still trying to recover. Only on 41 workers. And I think he needs to make a move, Kevin does. He is behind in the economy. He's got a bit of an army lead right now. Of course, the upgrades hurting him there. And Kevin's going to need to make something happen. He needs to do some similar damage to Timbo, or I don't know. He does have a lot of tanks, which will definitely help if he can siege them up, but will he be able to in time, as both armies kind of awkwardly clashing in the middle of the map, and these tanks not really sieged up. He is sieging them up now, so that is going to help greatly. And control by Kevin has been a little bit awkward. He has been loading up his medevacs accidentally and unsieging once again. Is Kevin gonna go for an attack? Not too sure, but oh my god, these tanks getting very far forward. This is very scary, but they do manage to siege up without too much trouble, and kind of like ships in the night, both armies passing each other by. Timbo gonna take out this newly minted 5th base of Kevin, whereas Kevin just gonna go for it. Looks like we might be seeing a base trade situation, and usually these are gonna favor the Terran player, but let's see how it goes. That planetary gonna fall, and will either player decide to turn around? This base of Timbo gonna go down. These tanks kind of naked, but Timbo doesn't really have enough to punish that. And looks like Timbo gonna be the one to turn home. I don't know if that was the right decision. Kevin doesn't really have a lot of buildings on his side of the map, but Timbo perhaps confident that he can win the fight. I'm not so confident, but maybe if you can get these tanks a nice warp in the back to get a surround. And the storm's going down as well. All the tanks, one tank remaining, but it looks like all the Terran army is gonna fall, and GG gets called. Timbo taking yet another game in this clown fiesta. Welcome back, folks. What a dookie of a game number 1. But ultimately, our Protoss player in the bottom right, this time in the red, Mr. Timbo Slice, was able to pull off the victory there. But his opponent in the top left in the yellow with the Terran pieces put up a good fight. Much better than the previous games. It is Kevin Lee. A much better showing by Kevin, although he did ultimately lose that game. But he did manage to put up a fight, and I think with a few slight adjustments, that could have been his. I think a big factor was the upgrades. Timbo ended the game with, I think, 3-3-2 on his ground units, whereas Kevin only had 2-1 or something like that. But the upgrades, heavily favoring Timbo there. And perhaps a little bit better army positioning. Don't let your tanks die too quickly. Maybe spread them out a little bit more. And Ghost would have definitely been huge. EMP to take out all the shields, to take out the energy from the Templars. And then all of a sudden there's no splash damage in the Protoss army. And that could look a lot different. But this is a new game. Both players going to be opening up on the low ground. And looks like both players going to be expanding relatively quickly. Timbo a little bit ahead on that one. But we do have a Reaper already almost done. Cybernetics Core not quite ready. So let's see how this Reaper does this time around. Not sure why this command center is so late, actually. I think Kevin maybe queued up a little too many SCVs, maybe trying to do a little too much. This command center could have been a little bit earlier. Reaper gonna stroll right on in and gonna start blasting away at these probes. Should be able to get at least one. Oh, if he fires correctly, does get one. Stalker does show up. Maybe we can even get another one. Let's see. Oh, he gets trapped. The citizens arrest 2 probes for a Reaper. I think that's a fairly even trade. And I don't know how he does it, man, but Timbo gets those more often than he really should. Surrounds. Now it is going to be a robotics facility once again. Kevin looks like going to be doing the same thing that he has been the past few games. Barracks with a tech lab, going for Marauders, fast impact, factory. Going for the reactor, actually. That's a little bit different. He did that on one of the other games, got a few Hellions, but it didn't really work out for him. So let's see how it goes this time around. Maybe he has been in the lab and has cooked up something new for us. There's going to be 2 Hellions out of that factory. And it's going to be Stalkers out of Timbo once again. Could be maybe producing more, but maybe he's saving money for an observer that he always goes for. We do have the Twilight Council as well. Not quite enough resources to research anything, but probably going to be charged once again. Timbo, he does have 3 gases, so does have enough gas to research something now. What's it going to be, Timbo? Charge indeed. We do have a forge coming on up as well for the upgrades. We have 4 Hellions going to be driving across the map to see if they can find any damage. 2 Stalkers holding down the fort. And that's going to be enough to block this entryway. 1 Hellion getting very low on HP. And this observer going to spot these Marauders moving out. And any reaction by Timbo? Warp gate just finishing. Is he going to warp anything in? This is a little scary, actually. 4 Marauders beats 2 Stalkers pretty easily. And first Stalker going to get caught out in the open. Shield battery not quite done yet. And big stim in. Shield battery does finish up now, but it's too late. And where is the stuff from Timbo? Oh my god, are we going to see a very quick game 2? Taking out the pylon, canceling that warp in. And these probes have nowhere to go. They're all going to get burned up by the Hellions. 13 probes going down, more to fall. And Zealots being warped in by Timbo, but that's not going to be enough. Big Daddy Immortal pops out. That might be enough to dispatch of these Marauders, but at what cost? These probes, they're lining up. 26 going down, 28, and 3 Hellions still alive to do more damage. And 32, can we get 33 like the other game? Surpassing the other game, 35, and GG gets called. What a decisive attack by Kevin Lee to even up the score. Welcome back, folks. We are in game number 3 after a very quick game 2 off the back of a swift build out of this guy, the Yellow Terran, Kevin Lee, and his opponent in the red saying it's good timing. It's the red Protoss Timbo Slice. So Kevin kind of maybe realizing last game that Timbo doesn't get a whole lot of units in the early game. And if he just takes advantage of that, goes for a swift attack, could just close the show pretty early. And that's exactly what he did there. 4 Marauders and 4 Hellions, just winning the game outright. Let's see if he decides to go for something similar, and let's see if Timbo can have a better defense if that does indeed happen. Now, this is going to be a much larger map in altitude, so we can see a big travel distance, very snowy map. And we are going to see that the Reaper will take some time to get across the map. This time Timbo going for the Cybernetics core before Nexus. Not sure what his build was last time, but his Stalker did seem a little bit late. And Kevin going to be saving up for a CC as well. Should be dropping that down right now. And just gonna be waiting to see what these guys decide to do. Stalker being chrono boosted out. Reaper already halfway towards Timbo's base. So Reaper once again gonna be able to get into the main before the Stalker comes out. Probe gonna be going down. Looks like 2 probes actually, and that's pretty good. Can we get a third? No. Kevin decides against it, and oh, the pathing. I don't know if that was a big brain move by Timbo with this building, but that forced the Reaper to have to go around, and the Stalker was able to get the killing blow. So once again, 2 probes for a Reaper. Fairly even trade there. This time, Kevin with the reactor on the barracks, getting 2 Marines at once. In fact, he's queued up 8 of them. Suboptimal, but I guess it is what it is. We do have a starport as well as another barracks. And this rally leads me to believe he's going to go for some kind of drop harassment. I expect to see a medevac out of this starport right away. And second barracks, not sure what that's going to be for. No, okay, going to be a reactor out of the starport, so maybe he's just going to be getting medevacs 2 at a time. While these Marines also pump out 2 at a time. Kevin with the double orbital, going to be dropping 2 mules, but his SCV production a little bit behind, as we do see he's 27 SCVs to the 34 probes of Timbo. Observer going to be popping on out, and no real information just yet for Timbo. He doesn't know what his opponent's doing. For all he knows, it could be the same attack, and if it indeed would be, he'd be pretty dead. But obviously not gonna be happening. So we do have 2 zealots, a stalker, immortal gonna be popping out soon. And here's the observer gonna give Timbo the first bit of information. And what a timing. He sees that the Marines load up into the medevac, and looks like the Marine production a little bit lacking. This second medevac has not been able to get filled up just yet. And this observer spotting everything. Looks like Kevin's aware of this. Looks like these Marines following the observer scan going down, and they do pick it off. But now Kevin knows that Timbo knows what he's doing. So is he going to change things up? Both medevacs are full now, so it looks like he is going to continue with this drop harassment. And what is Timbo's response? Is he going to be warping anything in to defend? He does have 2 pylons in the main. Could get a cannon, but this could do some damage. A lot of money in the bank for Kevin, as he is focusing pretty heavily on this drop play, it looks like. Back at home, his starport not being used, his factory is not being used, and medevac's kind of slacking right now. Okay, they are gonna start moving on in at the same time. Here we go. What's gonna happen? Not dropping off in the best spot, and the one in the natural getting completely denied as well. Main base does get 2 probes, which is decent, as well as an Artosis pylon there. Taking out 2 pylons, 2 probes, and he is going to get away with a full medevac. Second drop, as I stated, was completely shut down. This poor medevac going to be flying home all alone. And yeah, Kevin focusing very heavily on that drop. He has accumulated 1,500 minerals. Gonna need to spend some of that, but all things considered, supply count's still pretty even. Timbo sitting at 69, nice. Was a bit supply block thanks to that drop, and here it comes once again, unloading into the mineral line, taking out 2 more probes. And looks like Timbo gonna be focusing the medevac, so these Marines have no way of escape. They can take out what they can, but they are all ultimately going to die. So things are quieting down now. Kevin gonna be the one to take his 3rd first. And that bodes well for the Terran player. He is up a bit in supply. Loading up 3 more medevacs. Woo! This boy getting wild. Taking a 4th base as well. And let's see how this drop goes. Timbo going to be taking his 3rd as well. And ooh, this is scary. Scan going down. Going to be spotting the positioning of Timbo's army. So, oh, did Timbo spot that with his probe? I'm not sure if he was paying attention. But here comes Kevin dropping into the natural. Protoss army is very close. And all these Marines do get unloaded. They do stim 4 medevacs for support. How's this gonna go? I'm not sure. It looks like the Marines do have enough firepower. The men with guns, can they pull this off? And where is the stuff for Timbo? He is now finally warping in some additional stalkers. So he should be able to defend. One poor Marine left. Oh, 2 poor Marines left here. And looks like Timbo letting them live for now. They do go down eventually. Looks like, once again, things are going to quiet down. It did look like it was a little bit dicey for a second there. But Timbo does manage to hold. But back at home, Kevin with 4 bases, a lot of money still. Gotta spend that money, Kevin. Spend that money. And oh, I'm not sure why that medevac was there, but Timbo does pick that off. Observer seeing everything over here, and it's just Marine medevac out of Kevin. No upgrades, no marauders. This is all he is doing. And Timbo, I mean, if he just goes for like Colossus or something, that would be bad news bears for the Marine Army. I'm not sure why Timbo took this base. This is a little awkward. Why? Wait. Why did he take the corner base? And it's not even a hidden base because that medevac spotted that pylon. I guess he doesn't see the base, but why would there be a pylon there? So, if Kevin is as intelligent as we hope he is, he should be able to assume there's a base here. Now, curiously enough, Kevin, with a pretty hefty army supply lead, Timbo is relatively low in resources, but I'm not sure why he's trailing so far behind. I guess the drops did do a bit of damage, but 50 supply behind, that's a little crazy. Kevin, if he saw what we saw, he could just march across the map and stim this all down. The men with guns pretty good, especially against this type of army. No splash damage in the way of storms or disruptors or Colossus, which are in production now. But it's going to take some time for them to really be at max power. We do not have the thermal lance just yet. Yep, just double checking, and that's a pretty big oversight if Timbo does not get that. I think that brings the Colossus range up from 5 to 7, or maybe 6 to 8, something like that. It's a good upgrade, trust me, get it if you go for Colossus. And now we've got the next wave of harassment from Kevin Lee, who is maxed out, by the way, on a lot of Marines. And these Liberators, I'm going to run into a couple cannons, but they do find an opening here. And that's going to cause all these probes to evacuate. That's going to cause the entirety of the Protoss army to react. And maybe Kevin can find an opening, but we do have a spy, this observer, spotting everything. And, oh, looks like these armies may be clashing in any moment now. Big stim in, gonna catch 2 Colossus. I feel like we've seen this a few months ago. We do take out a couple pylons. Still have 2 Colossus beaming down, but is there just too much Terran? The Colossus doing so much damage. Only 1 remaining now, but the Marines kind of just derping around, and they do all die. And looks like these medevacs going to be flying home empty. A lot of money in the bank for Kevin, but not enough production. Look at all these barracks queued up so much. But no counterattack from Timbo. I think if he just went for it, could have won the game there. Not sure what that was. Maybe the Liberator. And 2 more Liberators here. Gonna go for the main base this time. And Kevin still with a lot of money. Kind of snoozing these two. A lot of money in the bank. If he could just spend that, he could have another maxed out army. But pure Marine isn't going to cut it anymore. And so Kevin adding in some Vikings to the mix. These Liberators. Hello? Do something. But each second that passes, Timbo's army looking more and more formidable. 3 Colossus now. Actually, he's halted Colossus production for now. Going to be focusing on, I guess, the upgrades and the eco. And Timbo's upgrades, once again, going to be eclipsing that of Kevin's. Timbo sitting at 2-2, Kevin on 0-0. And that's bad news for the Terran player. No engineering bay even in sight. So Kevin gonna try to make this work with pure Marines. 2 Liberators finally sieging up the main, but only getting 2 probes. They are both gonna go down. Some lost mining time, yeah, but I don't think that was really worth it. Now Kevin seems to have the army supply lead, 127 to 115. He also has the worker lead, but his army just doesn't look that scary. All Marines, only 2 Vikings in the mix. Finally, we have engineering bays going down. Where are those? Just 1, actually? Wait. 1 engineering bay. 2 armories. Once again, it looks like these armies gonna pass each other. And Timbo can get a free base here. And Kevin not gonna look back. He's going for the base trade once again. And it's probably gonna be Timbo who will have to turn around. Maybe give a recall? Hello? Recall. Your Protoss, remember? Just recall. Just recall. Just recall. But meanwhile, these Marines just absolutely crushing the Protoss base. Not really sure what to focus on, and a little bit of indecisive there, maybe a bit of miscontrol. And here comes the Protoss army. Finally, they walked all the way back. Is this going to be enough to clean this up? I think the Colossus should be able to, but Vikings do eventually take out the Colossus, and yeah, the damage is done. All the Marines melting. Once again, Timbo cleaning up, but at what cost? His main base is in shambles. All the structures there, all these buildings unpowered. But another big counterattack potential for Timbo Slice, and looks like this time he is going to be marching across the map. Kevin cannot produce fast enough. And oh no, you would think after last time he would make some more barracks, but just the production just isn't there. And Kevin gonna be taking out this 4th base. All these SCVs, including the command center as well. And is Timbo gonna press forward? No, it looks like he's just gonna go home. Happy with that 1 command center. And things are kind of evening up now in terms of supply. 51 workers to 53. Army supply also very even. But Kevin not really adding any complexity to this unit composition. It's just Marines, Medevacs, and Vikings. Now, if he can dispatch of the Colossus quickly, I guess the Marines can be okay, but the upgrades, +3 armor, +2 weapons for Timbo, that is pretty huge. Kevin only working on his +1 infantry now, getting 1-1 for his Vikings, and in fact they're going for a bit of a little journey. Not sure what they're doing. I guess he's gonna land them and try to take out some probes, but oh, Zealots are in position to hold that off, and Stalker's gonna blink, but Viking's gonna find a couple Colossus here for almost free, and that's a nice little catch there. If all the Colossus go down, then there is a world where this Terran army can win. But as we get closer and closer to both armies being maxed out, especially with the upgrades, this is gonna favor Timbo. And the once huge bank of Kevin has been getting diminished. He still has 4,000 gas. As I said, this guy is a gassy boy. I don't know what it is, but he is very, very gassy. Now, once again, both armies kind of just evading each other, and oh, Timbo taking that tower for a second there does spot the positioning of Kevin's army, and these Vikings looking for any wayward Colossus. Not gonna find any this time around. But oh, these armies gonna collide in the middle of the map. This Colossus very vulnerable, but good control by Timbo. Actually moving forward, does end up losing that, but does Kevin have enough? The upgrades once again are just huge for Timbo. Archon's gonna get close, and they are gonna deal so much splash damage. Vikings forced to land. Looks like it's gonna be a fairly even trade here. All Vikings end up going down, but the Marines with the medevac support might be able to clean this up with the additional reinforcing Marines as well. You guys gotta help out. Oh my god, help out. Look at these Marines. They are not joining the fight. They do stim in now, and looks like they are going to be able to take out the Immortal, but the reinforcements for Timbo have arrived. 2 more Colossus, a bunch of Archons being mixed in, and this might be curtains for the Terran player. Put up a good fight once again, but pure Marine not gonna cut it against Colossus and Archons, and especially not with this huge upgrade deficit. Timbo actually respecting his opponent, gonna be backing up and just gonna mass up a bigger army, more Colossus, secure himself a greater lead, but also allowing his opponent a chance to claw back in. It's not quite done and dusted just yet. Definitely looking a bit grim for Kevin, but there's still a small chance he can pull this off. He does have slightly better upgrades now, +2 attack, 2/2 on the Vikings as well. I do think he should have prioritized infantry, especially with all these Marines. But it is what it is. This army from Timbo looking very scary. How many Archons is that? 10 Archons, 4 Colossus. Ooh, that is going to be very difficult to deal with this pure Marine composition. And here comes Timbo, and he is out for blood, and Kevin muster up yet another defense. I don't know, folks. This looks pretty dire for our gassy boy. That base just crumbling without even a fight, and I think that's all you can really hope for. Just hope for more time. But I don't know. Big stim in, catching a few units that got a little bit ahead of themselves. But here's the rest of the Protoss army. And oh, these Archons dealing so much splash damage. These Colossus doing so much splash damage. And Colossus do go down eventually, but what's left from the Terran? It's just Medivacs. Got a few more reinforcing Marines, and they're actually gonna push Timbo back. What are we seeing, folks? And once again, Kevin holding. But how much longer can he do this? He's not changing up the composition. And I don't know. Kevin's down to 37 workers now. Timbo pretty much taking all the bases on his side of the map. He's mixing in disruptors as well. Perhaps identifying that the Vikings are just going to take out the Colossus too quickly. Here are two Vikings looking for some harassment. But it's still not over. Kevin going for +3 infantry. These Vikings going to land now. And that's pretty much all they're really going to be good for. There's no Colossus on the field or in production any longer. These Vikings actually being a nuisance. They do take out 5 probes, deny some mining time. You're going to get a pylon. And Zealot's going to show up to clean this up. Oh, maybe not good attention by Kevin. Does land once again to finish off that pylon, but that is going to cost both Vikings their lives. Ooh, Kevin, no, that was just another accidental load up. Thought he was going to go for a drop, but that could be actually a little bit spicy. A 25-minute drop harassment. I don't think Timbo would expect that. But oh, look at these bases. They are so close to each other. Maybe turn that into a planetary? I don't know what's going on here. But these first 3 bases have been pretty much completely mined out. Could lift these off and take other bases, but Kevin is now running very low in the resource department. At least for the minerals, only 800 there. Still a gassy boy. And another wayward Raven losing its life there. I don't think it dropped any missile turrets, auto turrets rather. But that's actually a unit that could swing things for Kevin. Not with the auto turrets, but with their, what's it called? The anti-armor missile, I think it's called. You drop that armor missile, and suddenly all these units have -3 armor. And these +3 Marines can be pretty good in that situation. We do have 2 disruptors in the mix. We've got a few High Templars with storms available. Looks like we're just going for a base trade yet again. Things are getting wild here. And these Marines marching forward. Protoss army gonna be taking out yet another base. Big stim for the Marines, and they're gonna take out everything here. And Timbo, once again, gonna be walking back slowly. You are a Protoss, you can recall. But I don't know. I feel like maybe the base trade would have been better, because look at all this time spent walking back. Gonna end up losing 2 bases here. I don't know. It's a tough call to make. Timbo deciding to go back home for the defense. And it's like these Terran units might be trapped. And they are very overstimmed. A huge Nova connecting there on a lot of Marines. Kevin forced to retreat, but he is down to 84 supply. And I don't think he can stay in this for much longer. The Protoss giving chase. These Marines, they have nowhere to go. They're going to stand their ground and fight, but they are going to lose their lives. GG gets called. Timbo take game